What's up, XRP Army? Welcome to the channel. If you're catching the replay of this stream, go ahead and skip ahead to the 4-minute mark. That is when I'll officially get things kicked off. I don't want to waste your time, so skip ahead to the 4-minute mark. Otherwise, I'm going to be taking the time to let people join the stream, test audio, let the stream buffer in, make sure everything is good to go so I can give you the best product possible. So again, if you're catching the replay, skip ahead to the 4-minute mark. Make sure you leave a comment. Secondly, if you're coming into the stream right now, please engage in the chat so I know you're here. I can't see how many people are in the chat, so I am at your mercy. But again, we will give it a few minutes to let the regulars hop in here at least, and then we will get things kicked off. We have lots of information. 21 shares is live today. Supply is draining faster than I was originally expecting, honestly. I'm going to cover that. I got some new ETF math for you and a better timeline of what we can expect. I know a lot of people are looking at the $750 by the end of the year, or the $100 by the end of the year, or the $1,000 XRP, and all these things. I have I believe, a more realistic, clearer timeline for you. Welcome to the stream, Abdiel. What the hell is going on with XRP? All these catalysts, and we're barely scratching $2. Don't worry, I got some news for you. I got some explanation for you as far as the overall macro market and why price is where it is and when we can possibly expect an increase in that price. Nice to see you again, Pure Bull Crap. Appreciate you. We're lucky to get to 20. Well, we'll see what happens. I think I've got some good information for you guys that you're going to like today. Because really a lot of people are more worried about the price than anything else. And we get all this great massive news and it's like price. All I hear is about the price. So don't worry, I am going to fill you guys in on what I think is going on. Again, nothing in the stream is financial advice. This is my opinion. I am not a financial advisor. I think Raul might have the right mindset. It's good to be at $2 again. He can get more, right? A lot of people are worried about the price. Price is barely scratching $2 with all this positive news, and we'll cover that. And we say it every time. We're here for the long view, right? We're here for what it's going to be a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. These daily fluctuations in the price follow the overall macroeconomic scale. So when the price drops 10%, but there was no news that came out about XRP, a lot of times that's derivative or futures based. You know, longs got liquidated, shorts got liquidated. It's a bunch of play in the stock market. That's why we track what's actually being removed from supply. And I'll let you guys know what the macro elements are that's dropping the price right now. But that's why we track the things that are real, right? How much XRP is being removed from supply? How much XRP is being removed from exchanges? We got that data yesterday. I'll share it again today because it ties into the whole scenario of what we're going to cover. So how much is being removed from supply? How much is being removed from exchanges? What is actually happening with XRP and its utility and its use case? These are the things that are going to affect the price, not the overall macro sentiment that is affecting it day to day. These are the things that are later on when the price does accelerate to new highs. People are going to be wondering what happened. It's the stuff that we talked about months ago that causes that. So we'll cover all of that as I'm giving you guys the rundown of getting ready to get in here and get started. Prices knocking on the door of $2 again, so we'll definitely cover that. And so yeah, don't worry, I'm going to start the 4-minute mark here in 15 seconds. I feel like I've already given you guys a lot of information of what we're going to cover, but today with 21 shares going live, it really sparked me to really talk about supply. And again, all I'm getting is comments about price, and I feel like some people need some explanation and clarity over what to really expect as opposed to the false expectations everyone's been given with ridiculous numbers for XRP. That being said, let's go ahead and start. We're just over the 4-minute mark, so I will give it a go here. Good afternoon, XRP Army. Welcome back to the channel. If it's your first time here, kick back, relax. I'm not going to ask you to do anything except engage in the chat. If it's your second time here, make sure you hit subscribe, smash the like button, engage in the chat. The chat is the lifeblood of the stream. The way the streams work, I will hop in and we will cover the chart. We will cover the price action as far as where XRP is right now and why. And then we will move into the ETFs, see what is actually being held by the ETFs. 21 shares finally kicked off today, and they kicked off with a bang. We're going to cover that, as well as decreasing supply on exchanges that we covered yesterday. We're going to couple that all in and get a new theory and timeline for what we can actually look at for a real true supply shock with XRP. That being said, today, why is the price down? That's what everyone wants to know. Make sure you guys are liking the video and engaging in the chat. We got 14 people here, so this is the perfect time to kick it all off. Thank you, Ralph. Thank you all for being in the stream. Make sure, chat. I love the chat. All right, so let's talk about the price. As you can see, we fell through our wedge, and I was immediately proved wrong by saying I don't think we're going to fall below $2. We did get down to as low as 197, and we are now just hitting $2 again. We just crossed the $2 line. So why is price falling? Well, we have discussed this. Until utility turns on, XRP follows Bitcoin. What's Bitcoin doing? Oh, I didn't mean to get the ETF. I wanted the actual Bitcoin. So until utility turns on, we're going to be following Bitcoin. Bitcoin is down today. Why is Bitcoin down today? We just got good bullish news of Fed rate cuts and the end of quantitative tightening, plus stealth quantitative easing, and I'll cover that for you guys as well. So Bitcoin's down today. XRP followed Bitcoin. Why is Bitcoin down? Well, we got rate cut news. So what does that do? It weakens the dollar against the yen. We have been tracking this. This is the last day. I just refreshed it, but I'll refresh it again. So this is the last month, but this is the last day. This coordinates pretty in line with what's happening with Bitcoin. Okay. So when the dollar weakens to the yen, this is what we consider warning of the reverse carry trade. Now, it looks like thanks to the Fed, we're going to get a softer landing on the reverse carry trade. Let me see if I still have the tweet pulled up here. I think I bookmarked it. I hope I bookmarked it. Let's see here. Did I? I did not. Darn. So basically, I didn't bookmark it, but on top of the quarter basis point cut, the Fed came and said they're going to buy short end T-bills over the next 3 years. So what does that mean? That's like a front end injection of liquidity that they're going to pull back out soon. It's not quantitative easing. Quantitative easing is when they expand the balance sheet by buying bills, T-bills that are, 25, 30 years, money that's going to stay in the economy for a long time, not something that's going to be put in and then pulled right back out very short. But still liquidity, it's still bullish. It's still liquidity entering the market. And the last time we had rate cuts and liquidity entering the market was pre-COVID. And it does turn around and fluctuate those, that money into risk assets and ETFs, which is good for us because we have a ton of ETFs going live for XRP right now. So I do think we will start seeing a flow of that new liquidity into ETFs, which is very, very bullish. So quarter basis point cut and end of quantitative tightening. So we're not shrinking the balance sheet anymore, and we're injecting more liquidity into the market. At least the Fed is. So that is good. And they basically said, the reason for this is jobs data came back bad. They're really, really worried about unemployment. They're not worried about inflation anymore. They're saying inflation's going to stabilize in January, hopefully. So they're more worried about the jobs market, and that's why they're doing these cuts and they're putting liquidity into the market. Our GOP is still looking good. So the economy is overall looking strong. Stock market's looking strong. Everything's looking strong, but they are very concerned that jobs are going to fall further. So they went ahead and did the cut and they injected the liquidity. And they basically said that we're keeping a close eye on the situation. If jobs get worse, we're going to print again. So the money printer is on full force, and that means translation into risk assets. That being said, speaking of risk assets, let's talk about our ETFs. We have a new ETF today, the 21 shares ETF. Currently, oh, come on now. I hate this sometimes. There it goes. Currently, that today in the last 24 hours, we're showing 14.5 million of spot volume, 23.7 million of leveraged volume across all of the XRP ETFs. I'm going to skip straight over to 21 shares for its holdings. It just went live today and it is holding 98,360,000 XRP. That is one heck of a bankroll to start. So immediately starting with just under 100 million XRP for 21 shares now added to the list. Franklin Templeton. Yesterday they were at 78 million. Let's see if they've had any change. Franklin Templeton is now still at 78 million. No change for Franklin Templeton. Grayscale was 104 million. Let's see if they had a change. Oh, they're now up to 105 million. So another million added by Grayscale. Canary Capital was at 169 million. Oh, they went down to 168 million. So a little pullback from Canary Capital. We're starting to see outflows now. I don't like that. But a million out from Canary Capital and 100 million in from Grace or from 21 shares. So I guess that's the trade-off that we have there. Rex Osprey, no change for Rex Osprey. Bitwise was at 94 and now they're at 97. So Bitwise added an additional 3 million. We finally saw our first outflow from a true spot XRP ETF, and that was today from Canary Capital. They went back a million. So all that to be said, we've covered what, over 600 million now in assets under management for just those 5 ETFs, for the true 5 spot ETFs. But we also talked about Wisdom Tree's index fund, Wisdom Tree spot ETF, that's still waiting out in the wings, that needs to be approved. Let's see here. Let me pull this up. I'm trying to find a bookmark tweet for you. I apologize. I'm going to find this for you guys. Remember, engage in the chat. Thoughts, questions, comments, put them in there, guys. I want to talk to every single one of you. Let's take a look. Okay, these are my bookmarks. All right. 21 shares is live. Here's what I was looking for. Perfect. All right. So this is a list of all of the crypto ETFs that are in the pipeline right now, still waiting to be approved. So as far as total active filings, XRP has 3 spot ETFs waiting in the wings, 7 1940A derivatives filings waiting in the wings. And also they are included in a lot of these basket ETFs, right? There's a total of 15 basket ETFs. These are kind of like your index style that have XRP included, that we were talking about are going to have a lot of flows go into them. So including that, there's a total of 22, I think, spot or derivative products that are awaiting in the wings that have XRP either as the main thing or included in them. So 600 million in assets under management from the 5 spot ETFs that are live right now, plus 1 index fund that's live right now, plus 1 1940s ETF that's live right now. You add those in, it's getting closer to 700 million in actual assets under management. We got 22 more. 22. Now, let's take that with another slice of bread, shall we? Crypto ETFs are responsible for 1 to 2% of investment of all ETFs this year. 1 to 2%, less than 2%. They're expecting that over the next 5 years to 10x to 20x. So if we get just a 2x next year, just a 2x, because right now, essentially, the way it averages out, if you take the actual amount of days that these ETFs have been live and you factor in and do the division of the assets under management and how much XRP is actually physically being taken off of the market per day, it comes out to like 65 to 75 million XRP per day is being removed by ETFs as far as what's physically being held in trust. If we 2x that, that's 150 million a day. We pulled up, I still have them here. I'll pull them up for you. Let me find them. So if we 2x that next year, which is a very real possibility based on what everyone's saying, they're expecting it 10 to 20x over the next 5 years. So if we 2x that next year, just on these 5 ETFs, that's 150-ish million per day coming out. We have 2 different charts here. This is the exchange available supply. One of these is reading that reserves fell from 7 billion to 5.7 billion. The other one is reading that it fell from 3.9 billion to 2.6 billion. Both of these are saying that the decrease in supply was $1.3 billion worth, so roughly 600 million XRP. Where did we just hear that number? So roughly 600 million XRP has been removed from exchanges. One says 60 days, one says 30 days, or one says 3 weeks, excuse me. One says over the last 60 days, one says over the last 3 weeks. That's remarkably close to the amount of XRP that's being held in these trusts. Food for thought, connect some dots. That's not me, again, not financial advice, but that's eerily similar to say the very, very least. So regardless of which number you use, let's take the high number. Let's say there's nearly 6 billion left, so 5.7 billion, right? If we 2x just between these five ETFs, that means we are removing 150 million XRP per day. This is going to, if we take the high end of it, 5.7 billion, it's going to be gone by the end of next year. If it does anything more, we're talking months, if not weeks, if we get like a 4x or a 5x as far as participation in ETFs going from 1 to 2% to maybe 2 to 4% or 5% or 6%. That's going to double or triple the amount of XRP that is physically being removed from supply by these ETFs. Food for thought. This is how the supply crisis actually happens. So, okay, again, the Ripple escrow drop. They do release $1 billion, okay? And I actually did this math before as well. If you want to take the entire 100 billion supply, which we know is not available, but if you want to take the entire 100 billion supply and use that math, it completely drains out by March of 2028. So we're here for the long view. We're here for the long haul. We know there's not 100 billion available. What I'm saying, I don't know when it's going to run out, but if they only release 1 million or 1 billion a month, if we take that whole 12 billion over the next 12 years with a 3x, it's still going to be gone. That's not counting what's in corridors, what's being held in wallets, what's being held by other institutions, what's being held for private settlement. That people don't want to have to see it. That's fine. It's something I believe in. I could be very wrong. That's why I come and say it's not financial advice. But when you see these kind of numbers happen, you got to raise an eyebrow, and that's a risk I'm willing to take. That being said, so we were talking about this yesterday, and I wanted to point it out. So if you were in the stream yesterday when I was talking about what's being held in wallets, right? What's actually being held in wallets, people talking about whale selling pressure. And I said, when we were reading this, I don't think this is very accurate because it wasn't retail panic selling. If you remember seeing this article, it said retail is panic selling. Can price get $5? They changed the article and switched it to 350 million XRP changes hands as bigger whales take over. And they talk about the selling pressure from the middle-sized whales and the larger whales accumulating. So when you're reading some of these things, remind you, even Yahoo Finance gets it wrong. Okay, we were talking about this while it was a different article yesterday. They went ahead and changed it. So the whale selling pressure that we've been seeing over the last few weeks have been coming from the middle-sized wallets, the ones that are holding 1 million to 10 million. But the larger wallets, the ones holding 10 million plus, bought all of it OTC. So we didn't see or feel any of this buying and selling pressure. It all happened OTC, and it all went from medium whales to large whales. That's what's being reported here. That's what we were talking about yesterday. So it says right here, their combined holdings climbed by 350 million XRP during the same period, worth more than 379 million. So larger wallets holding 10 million to 100 million absorbed the entire supply and then some that was being sold by these medium-sized wallets. Food for thought, something to think about. Even Yahoo Finance gets it wrong sometimes. Other than that, there is no XRP news. I'll go ahead and refresh it. They're talking about the successful launch of 21 shares. Breaking news, 21 shares. We already talked about this morning. And 108 million in XRP shifts mysteriously. What are the whales up to? 108 million shifts mysteriously. Where could that be going? We don't know. There's been lots of weird things on the XRP ledger with money moving around. That's because they have to be setting something up with the account sets and everything else that we've witnessed over the last week. The supply is running paper thin, and I will counter any argument anyone wants to give me about supply. The math is the math. It does not lie. And my math, I did the video when ETFs first came out and first started tracking, right? And it was at that point, the average was 75 million. Now we have more ETFs, more time, and more data, and it's still averaging 65 to 75 million a day. So food for thought. That the math does not lie. Let's hop into the chat though. I want to talk to all of you. If someone can let me know how many people are in the stream. Again, the way the stream works, I start out, I go over the price chart. We talk about the price action and all of the things that go along with that. Again, the price is for context. We're here for what happens a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, hell, even 20 years from now. We are long-term holders. We're not buy and sellers. That being said, after I come through and do all of the news and the chart and the ETFs, I go and hop into the chat. I love talking to every single one of you. I'm going to answer every question and talk to every single person. Once I get through all of the chat information, I'll go in and do a recap for anyone who's come in late. And then after that, it's just a chat XRP Army hangout, and we will see how long we can go. So let's see here. Abdiel said 777. What the hell is going on with XRP? All these catalysts, and we're barely scratching two buckaroos. Hopefully, I answered that question for you. But again, we're still following Bitcoin, and until utility and clarity unlock, we're still a speculative asset until we're not anymore. Let's see here. Pure Bullcrap 101 says, "Hey, nice to see you. Nice to see you too." I'm going to start calling you PBC because Pure Bullcrap is a lot to say. Let's see here. Abdiel said we'll be lucky to get 220. I think we're going to get there sooner than people think. Daniel Parker said, hello. What's up, Daniel? PBC says, tell us, please. This is getting ridiculous. Hopefully I answered why the price fell yesterday. Again, we were all week. I was saying I thought it was going to be a sell the news event when we got the Fed rate cut on Wednesday. I didn't expect us to fall below $2 like we did. But the entire time we were talking about a sell the news event, and it looks like that's exactly what happened, unfortunately, because that was already priced in. I was not expecting them to say they were going to start buying short-term T-bills. That was a surprise, but I'll gladly take it. That's extra bullish. Let's see here. Raul says, hi, it's good to be at $2 again. I can buy more. There you go. Dollar cost average, not financial advice. Do your own research. Let's see here. Abdiel said he got 500 more this morning, or 500 worth more this morning. Good for you. Good for you. Mario says, let them bring it down some more. I got some more powder I need to get rid of. Let it hit under $1. I'll be backing up the truck. I mean, if again, and I feel the same way you all do. I mean, I don't want to see it go down to $1 or anything like that, but I mean, if there's no negative news coming out about XRP or the XRPL, and we're just getting positive news and positive catalysts and the price is falling, that to me, that's a buy signal. Yeah. Again, not financial advice, but you buy when there's blood in the streets, not when it's pumping. And I have a feeling, eventually here in the near future, XRP is going to start pumping. It's a matter of when, not a matter of if to me. And when it does, all the people are saying, what about price? What about price? What about price? All of us will know. That was dictated now and 5 months ago, and all the things that we've been talking about to set it up in the future. Because January, we have a bunch of regulation coming. They're talking about having the Clarity Act done in January. We did the clip yesterday with the two senators saying there's nothing holding it back. It is bipartisan agreement on both sides that they want to get it done. So Clarity Act should be coming soon, I hope. Adoption of the CFTC, with them being the first in history to be completely adopted across the board. Futures and derivatives trading is starting on XRP in a couple weeks. Like massive information coming in. So as long as the positive information is coming in, I don't care what the price is. If it's going down, I'm still buying. That's just me, not financial advice. Let's see here. Tulare said there were 14 people in the stream when we started. Thank you. I appreciate that. Abdiel said, are we in bear market? Will XRP drop below $1.50? With the announcement from the Fed yesterday, I do not believe we are in a bear market. The reason I say that is because they went ahead and cut. They believe inflation is going to stabilize. The issue we're having right now is with risky jobs data, and the jobs data and the inflation data that they're going to get this month, they basically said they're going to ignore because it's not good data due to the government shutdown first half of November. They didn't get accurate reporting. So basically this month's numbers are going to get thrown out. But we do have between now and January 19th. Yeah. Between now and January 19th, we get 2 inflation reports, we get 2 jobs data reports, and we're going to have the reclassification ruling of DATs on January 15th. There are a lot more catalysts macroeconomically coming down the pipeline over the next month. So we do have a lot to look at. The yen is strengthening against the dollar. That is not good for us. Japan is going to be hiking in December. That could cause some major problems as far as the carry trade. But remember, we went over the carry trade about the non-violent way the carry trade could happen. We went over that a couple days ago. Think of it as a soft landing carry trade. There is an option for that. And the soft landing carry trade option is people sell risk assets and then start funneling back into ETFs, which is really, really good for us because the XRP ETFs are hot, hot, hot right now. So I do not think we're in a bear market because we got the rate cut and the Fed was saying that basically we understand that that inflation's good, but jobs are wishy-washy. So we're going to start pumping in some more liquidity, and they do that to stabilize private credit. So in the past, if you've been watching every stream, we've talked about private credit being shaky. That's why they're putting in the liquidity. It's to safeguard those rails essentially, to make sure private credit doesn't crack. It's going to loosen up lending and funding, along with lower interest rates. So cheaper money and easier money. That is why I do not think we are going to be in a bear market. Let's see here. Don't forget Ripple escrow drop. I talked about the Ripple escrow drop. 700 million of December's was relocked, so only 300 million went out. And don't forget, Ripple, a lot of people are worried about this. With Ripple Prime, Ripple does have their own ETC desk. However, they cannot sell Ripple as a security. They can only sell it as to their business partners as technology. So they can't sell it to exchanges and stuff like that for ETFs. They're not allowed to do that. There's a lot of miscommunication around that. Raul says we should just buy and don't worry about the price. It will go up this coming year. We won't be able to buy anymore at this price. I do think here in the near future, $2 will be a thing of the past. It's a matter of when, not a matter of if. I'm not going to tell you when, but people do want a timeline, and I did say I have one for you, and I'm going to cover that as soon as I get through this chat here. Always saying wait, this coming soon. When ETF goes on this XRP moon, I never said wait XRP moon. I said that I believe that the ETFs were going to create steady buying pressure and that we would see an appreciation in price, a slow appreciation in price from November through December to the end of the year into January. And when we get clarity, then I expect a faster appreciation in price. We need to be able to use it. We are here for the long haul. I don't listen to those guys saying that's going to be any kind of price, but I give you a timeline. We gave the timeline of when the supply will run out and what that could mean for price and when the price could finally start moving up. Let's see here. Yeah, always saying wait, this coming soon, this and that, always something. I'm just trying to give you guys the news. That's it. Let's see here. Pure BC1. There you go. I like the name change. That makes it much, much easier. Pure BC. I can do that. Steven says you need the price to go down. I got you. I bought 21K worth, so dropping. So what you're saying is every time you buy, Steven, the price goes down. It feels like that sometimes. It does feel like that. Luckily, my dollar cost average is still below the price, so I am in the green. But I mean, it is what it is. We're here for the long view. Raul says the whales are buying from escrows. Why price is not going up? Well, I mean, yeah, the whales were buying from the big whales were buying from the baby whales, the medium-sized whales anyway. The big whales are buying from the medium-sized whales. Let's see here. Not you, buddy. You clear, and that's why I listen to you. Oh, thanks, Pure BC. I appreciate it. I try to. And it's really hard because even when I put out, even like this morning, if you caught my short this morning about 21 shares, when I was talking about them starting with 100 million XRP and what a big deal it was. And all I hear is price, price, price. It's not doing anything to price, price, price. I'm like, okay, guys, watch the stream. You might get an idea of what we're trying to do here. You're clear, steady in your information and never on hopium. That's the idea. I try to give you real information and my take and what it means on the information. What do I want for Christmas? Clarity Act. Yeah, that would be wonderful. What do I want for Christmas? I want the Clarity Act, and I want it to define XRP as a bridge currency. That's what I want for Christmas. If they define it as a bridge currency, let's go. All right, let's hop into the recap for anyone who may have came in late. We discussed the price. We're currently, that's Bitcoin's price. We're currently still following Bitcoin. And if we pull up XRP, you can see right here, currently still following Bitcoin back over $2. So let's hopefully we stay at that support and continue to push up. I would like for us to get back into uh this wedge. And again, if you are new to the streams, I start with a full rundown of everything we're going to go over. Then I hop into the chat, answer all questions in the chat, and talk to every single person in the chat. Then I get into a recap. And then once we get through all of the recap, we hop back into the chat and hang out till we get bored, essentially. So ask any questions, make sure you engage. And I'm going to recover all of the information from the ETF starting right now. So price is at $2. ETFs, we're currently in the last 24 hours talking about 15 now, built 15.6 billion of million of inflows, excuse me. So we had another million of inflows while we were talking. And we were covering all of the ETFs. Franklin Templeton still at 78 million XRP in trust. Grayscale gained a million. They are now up to 105 million. Canary Capital lost 1 million. The first decrease we have seen from any of the pure spot ETFs. They are now down to 168,998. They were at like 169.5. So it was the first outflow. And again, ask your questions. I will answer them as I get through the recap. Rex Osprey now at 30 million, still holding tight. And Bitwise, we had an improvement of 4 million. They are now up to almost 98 million. So we did have our first outflow from the Canary Capital, but 21 shares kicked off today, and they started with a whopping 98 million XRP. They are not playing around. They started hot and heavy. We went over the supply decreases on the exchanges, right? So we have two different reports. We have one saying there's roughly 2.6 billion left on exchanges, and one saying 5.7 billion left on exchanges. Both are reporting a $1.3 billion decrease. So roughly a little over 600 million XRP decreased over these exchanges in the last 3 weeks to 60 days. We have that confirmed between both of these anyway. That being said, how much XRP have we lost in the last 30 days from ETFs? Roughly just over 600 million. Curious, just saying. Connect some dots. I can't say that's what happened, but it definitely looks like it is having an impact on exchanges. Just saying. Again, remember, OTC desks and dark pools are held on exchanges, regardless if they're buying them from there or not. It may not be having a direct impact on the price, but it is reducing the supply. Just saying. And again, we had confirmation that $350 million or 350 million XRP changes hands. So the medium whales, the $1 to $10 million whales, were selling directly to the very large whales. So the medium whales sold 330 million and the large whales accumulated 350 million. So there is still very much large scale whale accumulation along with mysterious transactions still happening on the XRP ledger. 108 million in XRP shifts mysteriously. What are the whales up to? So XRP is still moving around. Large amounts of XRP still being removed from supply every single business day. We went ahead and created a timeline. If you factor in the timeline, remember, they're talking about 1 to 2% right now. Only 1 to 2% of all ETF investments are going into crypto, right? Are going into the crypto ETFs. They're expecting that to 10 to 20x over the next 5 years. So even if we get a 2x next year on how this is going to be removing XRP, currently we're at 65 to 75 million a day with the 5 ETFs we have now. Remember, there's about 20 more coming down the pipeline that we went over. So between pure spot XRP and basket index ETFs, there's about 20 more coming down the pipeline that are still going to remove physical XRP from supply. But if we don't even factor those in and we just 2x what we've already done as far as the 65 to 75 million per day, you're looking at 150 million XRP per day being removed, and there's only about 6 million left on the high end. It's going to run out eventually. Food for thought. That being said, let's hop back into the chat. Pure BC says jaw dropped when you watched my short about the new ETF this morning. Yeah, that 98 million that was sitting in there, that was shocking to me. I was expecting like a low amount, like 10 million, maybe 5 million, like the other one started with 98 million in there. Will the burn rate ever affect the price? I don't think the burn rate's really going to affect the price in our lifetime, to be truthful with you, Daniel. It's there to maintain and keep it deflationary, but I really don't think it's going to impact the price in our lifetime. I think the price will appreciate before that happens. Tool Ralph said, when will XRP decouple from Bitcoin? If I'm putting, based on this data that we have right now, if they reclassify DATs in January, we could see it start then. Honestly, I truthfully think it's already started to happen. We're just not seeing it yet. And that's why we have consistent ETF inflows every single day in the XRP, regardless of the price going down. There has been, up until today, there has been consistent ETF inflows into XRP every single day. No outflows. So that, and in that time, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, all of them had outflows. That would tell me that money is going somewhere. Where? We can't be for sure, but I would say it's cycling in there. That being said, I think we see a real visible decoupling. It could happen if we get the reclassification of DATs in January, but I do think we're actually really going to see the impact of this supply crunch probably around mid-year this year, Q2. That could also be accelerated faster with utility and adoption. You know, if they get the bank charter and clarity, like all of these things, I can't guarantee when they're going to happen or when we're going to cause a liftoff, but just from the supply element of it, if we're talking about decoupling, it looks like June, July, August, summer, Q2. Not factoring in any other catalysts, be it utility, adoption, banking charter, Fed master account. All those things are still waiting in the pipeline as well. I mean, it's ridiculous. That's why I'm so pumped and hyped up around XRP. To me, it's when, not if. Shakal said, question. What's your question, Shakal? I didn't get it. Let's see. Tulare, when will XRP decouple from Bitcoin? I just answered that. Pure BC, XRP from escrow are not going on exchanges, question mark. So exchanges can purchase escrow, but they cannot pre-purchase it. They can, Ripple can pre-sell their escrow to their business partners. They can also sell it to exchanges, but they cannot sell it to retail or to OTCs, or not OTCs. They can't sell it to retail or to ETF issuers. They cannot sell their XRP as a security. They can only sell it as a technology. So yes, can they sell to exchanges? Not directly, but people can buy it and then turn around and sell it to exchanges. So yes, exchanges can, in essence, reload from Ripple later. But again, only $1 billion at a time goes out, and they only locked up 300 million. And Ripple still has, again, they're talking about making changes to the escrow with the government potentially reclassifying things. So there's a lot of that up in the air too. But yes, Ripple can sell their escrow to, or let me rephrase, exchanges can buy Ripple's escrow when it becomes unlocked. They cannot pre-purchase it. Hopefully that answers the question. Sir Charles said 2 cups of coffee. All right, so we've gone through the entire chat. We've gone through all of the information twice. Hopefully that gave you guys some clarity as far as what exactly is happening with supply. Again, if we factor in the entire 100 billion XRP supply and we actually do the math of what's physically being removed from ETFs, and we have a long amount of data now showing that's about 65 to 75 million per day, with more ETFs coming, and with many financial institutions claiming a 10 to 20x in digital assets over the next 5 years, If we even get a 2x inflow in these ETFs over the next year, that's 150 million XRP a day. It's going to be gone before people even know what happens, honestly. And the price will have to go higher at some point. It's a matter of supply and demand. My opinion, not financial advice. Hopefully that makes sense to all. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the content, and I will see you at noon tomorrow. Later.